Alright, here is sort of an impromptu review of the Samsung NX20. This is not the Galaxy version. It is the simple NX20. It's an impromptu review because I really did not have any intention of doing a full review on this. I just found myself at my in-laws' house playing with it for a little while, getting ready to go on a trip, and I'm just kind of bored out of my mind, so I figured, hey, what the hell, I'll do a little review. I couldn't find much information on this camera, especially North America-wise. It didn't really get that well received here yet, but it is a wonderful little camera, especially for the price. I picked this guy up. It was a box open store from Henry's. I believe I got it off eBay for about $350. It retails for about $1,000 when it first came out, but I'm not sure what the new bodies cost nowadays, especially now that the Galaxy version is out. But this one is very nice. There's about 20 megapixel sensor on it. It's a full CMOS size sensor. Now, this isn't going to be a review of a lot of technical specifications. You can find that on. I'm just going to put this manual focus on here. You can find that just by doing a simple Google search. I'm not going to review all that BS, but just sort of go through the camera quickly in itself. Shot some test videos, and you can see some of that after I walk through it here. Since this is just a quick little review, I'm not really going to be editing it very well. I'm just using Windows Movie Maker on the laptop, so it's not going to be anything fancy. Overall, it is an awesome little camera. It is not very big at all. Here is, hand towards it. It's got a great little grip. A ton of buttons on the outside, which is really nice for quickly adjusting things as you're shooting. And there is the electric viewfinder, which is pretty good. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but I liked it. Comparison, here's my cell phone. And autofocus is quite nice. I also got the Nikon V1, and the autofocus for the V1 is better, but if you're not comparing the two, the autofocus for the Samsung is quite good. It did not like to focus on the Christmas tree at all, but aside from that, it was pretty quick. Video-wise, very nice, and photo-wise, it was really good. It does shoot in high def, 1920 by 1080p in 30p, I believe. It does do 24, but then you end up with a crop factor of 1920 by 810, which is kind of bizarre. But that's what it does, and it will shoot that at 24. There is no external mic input. The only inputs you've got are HDMI here on the side and AV out, and then underneath you've got the battery and the SD card. So far the battery's been really good. I haven't had to charge it yet. Been playing with it quite a bit, and been using it outside in minus 30 Celsius, so it's kept up. I haven't been using it a lot outside because it's so freaking cold out. My only kind of beefs with it, the lens itself isn't that great quality, but again, this is just the kit lens, so it's a little bit tight coming in and out, not very fluid at all, but the focus ring is great. Very fluid, very easy to move. So with manual focus, it's really nice. It's just the zoom part, which really sucks. Would be nice if it had an external mic input like the V1 does, but I would just end up using an external, like a zoom, and syncing it up after if I was using it for video. The screen is great, and it does come out and rotate around, and I'll just power it up here. Got a really nice screen to it. I took the autofocus off the V1 because it was searching too much on the tablecloth here with this crappy lighting, but The screen is really nice, and it does a really easy job of syncing up to the cell phone to do the viewfinder. So to do that for the viewfinder, you just switch over to the Wi-Fi, and down here we'll go over to Remote Viewfinder, and on the phone click on Remote Viewfinder. It's going to try to find each other. And they found each other. So here is what we're seeing on the camera. And to take a picture, there it is. Okay, settings wise on here, it does a lot of different options, bracketing modes, and a lot of little gimmicky things like just yellow or blue, selective color, little miniature, black and white, retro, that kind of stuff. You can also use that during the video as well. You can't take a picture during video recording, but you can save a frame of the video afterwards during the playback, which is almost better than being able to take it during the picture anyway. When you do take it during a picture, like with the V1, it will only save it the same dimensions as you're getting from the other camera. The one downfall is probably the buffer. Now, I believe I've got this set to rapid fire. I'll just see what. No, I don't know if that's rapid fire, so we'll switch that to rapid fire. Continuous, high speed, and then burst. So we'll do continuous high speed. It stops and processing. The V1 in comparison, the Nikon will take 60 frames per second, and there's virtually no buffer issues to worry about. This Samsung has been upgraded to the latest firmware, so there has been some issue with differences in the firmware. So this is with the latest firmware. And if I go into here and go to the low, continuous low 3 frames per second, and there's that done. I'll see if we can change it to, they do have a burst setting where you can do 10, 15, and 30 frames a second. So let's give this 30 frame a try. It is going to be at a lower ISO 100 on this guy. Let's see what it does. Dryer's ready. One other thing to mention with this camera is the Wi-Fi. Samsung's pushing the Wi-Fi ability a lot. See if the V1 will focus in on here. So you got the mobile link, the viewfinder, social sharing, email, SkyDrive, TV link, auto backup. I have not played around too much with any of the mobile link features except for the remote viewfinder, which does work pretty well. You can save some files to your phone and then send it from your phone right away, although it's going to be a smaller version, thankfully, because I don't want a 20 megapixel file taking up space on my phone. Same thing with some of the other features, but you can back up and cloud store a lot full res files, I believe. I haven't tried any of those yet. But according to the manual, there are some things that you can do with the full res files, and then if you go into Wi-Fi. The big reason why I got this camera was for travel. So say I go into a hotel that has Wi-Fi, don't even need my computer with me. I can just bring this and set it up on their Wi-Fi and upload a few pictures to a sharing site or cloud store them if I want to, although I would imagine it's going to be a little bit slower and suck battery like crazy. Trying to get a little video of what the viewfinder, the EVF, looks like on the Samsung. This is just shoving the Nikon right inside, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of what you see when you look through. Obviously you're not going to see the video lines coming through with your eyeball, but there it is. And it's auto, so it just turns on and off when you come up to look at it or step away. Manual setting, 1/40th of a second, f3.5. Got the kit lens, 18 to 55, ISO 1600. Manual recording mode. Notice how it gets a little brighter as we go from here to there. Not sure why that would get brighter when we're set to manual. Now the settings are changing on the camera as I go through. You can tell the difference as it steps down there. Here's a confusing focus test for this camera. I set the focus and started recording on the candle. Now it's on continuous autofocus. You may have noticed a noise in the autofocus before with this test. This takes off the image stabilizer, and I just want to see if you can hear any difference. This is with the number 2 mode of my image stabilizer. Another confusing autofocus test. We are again on continuous autofocus. It's either that or manual focus. And we are set at 24 millimeters with the kit lens on the Christmas tree, which notoriously the Samsung hates.